you might want to grab yourself a candle, a crystal, be warm, be cozy. Just look at this as a little bit of time for yourself. We're just going to light, if you haven't already, we're going to light our candles just as a little opening, just to honour this evening, to honour ourselves. That's where those of you who are here can probably see I've got an array of candles behind me. But yeah, that'll just clear your space a little bit. So, new moon energy. I found the framework of the moon to be very nice to work with in terms of honouring yourself. So obviously we have a new moon today, or I think it was actually yesterday, and then in 2 weeks we have a full moon. And so if there's one way of carving, it was actually some feedback I had from a new moon ceremony I held some time ago. Feedback was that it became a very nice framework to give yourself, to maybe set intentions, to call new things in, to create. So as many of us know, the moon is strongly connected with our emotions, or to our emotions. So especially around the full moon, we can feel perhaps a little bit more emotional, a little bit more teary. It's the feminine energy, the moon, and it's ruled by Cancer. So it's very naturally a nurturing and caring energy. Can often be associated with motherhood. The new moon particularly is associated with new beginnings, fresh starts, new phases in life, planting of seeds, and it marks the beginning of the lunar cycle. So it's a time to look forward to plan for, to make time for, and to maybe carve out some time to get clear on your dreams and goals. So my intention for this evening, I would say, whenever you're listening to this, is just to create and hold a cozy space to enable you to connect to yourself, to go inwards. It's winter, we want to be in hibernation mode now, tend to want to return home and be cozy whenever we can. But alongside that, cultivating that coziness, it's perhaps feeling into what we want to create, what we want perhaps more of in our life. It doesn't have to be huge, it can be the simplest of things. So this new moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is known for its emotional intensity and its depths. So it's a very, very spiritual sign, Scorpio. And its positive aspects would be, it can be very passionate, very resourceful, very focused, very deep, and very perceptive. So those energies will be certainly ones to call in when working through what you'd like to perhaps set intentions for. Scorpio relates to intimacy, to control, power, money. So new beginnings or fresh starts are definitely possible in these areas. And Scorpio's lessons usually involve learning to dig deep. So getting right into the crux of things and sort of dig into the mysteries around us rather than just accepting things as they are or being content with the status quo. So if you have a crystal, it's possibly good to have that near you for the minute. We might use that in meditation in a little bit. I did pull a card this evening because I thought it was quite a nice thing to do before we started. I think when I show you, it's going to read backwards. So I will just say that it says, I honour how I want to feel. So many of us will know if we're setting intentions or calling in things to our life, it all comes from the feeling of it, being in an as if we already have it state, feeling into what we really want to create and what joy that's going to bring. as well as, first and foremost, being in the space of gratitude for where we are right now. So just allowing those feelings to come up before we connect into what we want to build upon. What are we calling in? What do we want to create more of? So I think if you're happy to settle into a little bit of a meditation, it might be a little bit of a interactive one this evening because nobody wants to sit still for any length of time. So we're just going to honor ourselves within this space, just allowing whatever to come through, and just trusting the process, knowing that you're safe, knowing that you can return to this anytime, and just being curious. You may have some real insights, you may not notice anything, you may just feel warm and fuzzy. All of it is welcome. All of it is welcome. So if you're comfortable to do so, I just encourage you to gently close down the eyes and just maybe take a deep breath in through the nose. And if you feel called to exhale out of the mouth or back through the nose, whatever feels right for you right now. Just getting a sense of where you are in the space. Noticing if there are any sounds. Maybe the texture of the air. The surface beneath you. Noticing how you're feeling. Noticing if you need to call your energy back to you now. Sometimes our energy can be scattered throughout the day. We're often doing more than one thing at a time. If you feel called to call your energy back now, maybe imagine it returning to you in whatever way you would do that. Just settling yourself into the space, knowing that you're giving yourself this gift of time, just for you now. And as you're in the space, maybe just bring some attention to your hands. Where are your hands placed at this time? Maybe you've just got them placed gently in the lap. And maybe you might be curious to gently bring them up in front of you and to allow them to slowly raise and to join, just so that the fingers and the palms are gently touching in front of you. Maybe peeling the palms away so you're just feeling the tips of your fingers. Just noticing how your hands are feeling today. And maybe you might just gently touch the fingers and the hand with one of the hands, the front and the back, and do the same with the other hand, almost like you're giving your hands and your fingers some love. These hands of yours that are your first port of contact, whether with yourself or with another. When you give a hug, maybe you place them on your heart at times. And maybe if you feel called to do so now, you might give yourself a hug gently, placing the hands on both your arms, noticing how that feels. Just allowing yourself this gift of nurturing. And you might gently squeeze your arms, you might move your hands up and down. You might gently lift the left hand up and place it down, and then the right hand up and place it down. Doing this very gently on your arms. So you're a bit like a butterfly. Just allowing your hands to gently tap the arms. Just allowing yourself this time and this comfort. And maybe the hands now land on the heart. Take a deep breath in. And notice the contact of your hands on your heart now. Whether there's a sensation or a warmth. Maybe there's a colour that springs to mind. Noticing the general vibrations, the gentle vibrations of your heart under your hands. How it expands as you breathe gently into this space now. Calling all your attention to your heart now. And as you connect with your heart, maybe you can call to mind some things that you're grateful for today. And they may be small things. They may be just being here now, giving yourself this gift of time. Or maybe you're grateful for something larger. Maybe you're grateful for one thing. Maybe you're grateful for 5. Just calling in that gratitude now. Noticing how it feels in the body, in the heart. Knowing that you are safe and that it's safe to do this. And maybe from this place now of gratitude, you might ask your higher self to step forwards. The higher version of you, that soul part of you that knows the answers. And allow that part of you to join you now, in whatever way that you would know this has happened for you. Knowing that you are safe, knowing that you are held, knowing that you are supported. And as your higher self arrives within the space to support you further today, maybe you might ponder what you might be calling in now. What are you creating under the energy of this new moon? What are you calling in? And whether you have the answers to these questions or your higher self doesn't matter. Just sit deep within your heart space. You know what you are creating. You know what you might be calling in. You know what seeds you might be planting or what seeds you want to plant today. What are you giving birth to? What new ideas or inspirations spring to mind? Maybe there's a word that comes through for you now. Ask your heart what that word might be. Ask your heart what that word might be. Said the sun to the moon, said the head to the heart. We have more in common than sets us apart. Maybe there's an affirmation that speaks to you today. And as you sit here now, if you feel called to write anything down, know that you can do this anytime. And if you'd like to sit in these energies a little longer, working with what you would like to call in, step into feeling the feeling of your desires fulfilled. How might that look for you? How does what you are creating feel in your body? Knowing that it's yours for the taking. That you are a powerful manifester and can create whatever you want at any time. But that the moon in its new state can support that. Knowing that the moon, new moon in Scorpio, is resourceful. What resources do you have today that will support you in creating what you want to create? What are you passionate about? What makes your heart sing? Because when we're in joy, we can create anything we want. Just feeling into those feelings and noticing where they are in your body. And whether you can expand them any further. Make them larger. Make them more colourful. Noticing how good they feel now. Noticing how you can release them out to the universe whenever you choose. Sending them out with love. Knowing that they will land wherever they need to land and come back to you multiplied. Knowing that if it's for the good of you and the good of all, it will come to fruition. What are you calling in? What are you creating? And just for the last few moments, noticing how your heart's feeling now. And whether there's a question for your heart, or whether your question has a heart for you. And just gently noticing how you're feeling. Noticing if there's anything you want to write down. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. I hope everybody had something that came through for them. Certainly the people in front of me did, I think. But I would just urge you to allow yourself the gift of time, maybe a few more minutes, just to write down anything that's come through. And you might be curious to see how things may come through in dreams later. My dreams are certainly off the charts at the moment. The moon is a big time for dreams, I feel.